There's a monster roaming the streets of our town, stealing our children away. Sometimes he's dressed in cocaine white, other times it's gunmetal gray. And the only power that can fight him down, we banned and pushed him away. Now he's roaming the streets of our town, stealing our children away.
Welcome to ODTV and Out of the Dark. I'm Carol McFarland and I'm here with you today along with Skip Mooney Jr. Today's segment is on the non-medical treatment of substance abuse and what the faith-based community is doing to help alleviate the substance abuse problem in America. We have many special guests here with us today, and our first guest is Kathy Qualls from Monette, Arkansas. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. Kathy is a member of the Butterfly House.
Yes.
And Kathy, why don't you just begin by telling us a little bit about the Butterfly House and where it's going to be located?
All right. The Butterfly House is a faith-based, long-term substance abuse center for women of the ages of 18 and over. The world is such a big place today, and I think that a lot of people turn to the world for the answers to their problems.
Mm-hmm.
And what we are wanting to do at Butterfly House is to teach the women to look to the Word of God rather than to the world for the answer to their problems. And you know, a lot of women don't have coping skills, and a lot of things just leads to unhealthy decisions and unhealthy lives. And so that's what we want to try to help them to provide a family-like environment, mm-hmm. and just help them to really get their lives back into that relationship with God and help them to heal and have healthy lives.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I understand that's great, and I understand that the Butterfly House is going to have professionals, and they're going to do life skills, coping skills, parenting
Yes.
skills, things like that.
Yes, we have many plans. Of course, we're in the planning stages right now, but we will have professionals there for therapy for the women. We are going to also have, of course, being long-term is, we think, is key. Being faith-based, we believe, is
mm-hmm.
key. We're going to work with them with life skills because a lot of women don't get that in their homes now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be working with them on how to have structure and discipline in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then also we're going to work with them on opportunities to further their education. A lot of these women haven't completed their education, maybe have dropped out of high school or wherever, so we're going to work with them to get their GED, and if they want to go on and further that, be there. And then also we want to get them employed. We want to get them in the community and take what they learn at Butterfly House and use that not just for the few moments that they're there, but for the rest of their lives, and really make a difference in the community through employment.
Wonderful, Kathy. You know, you've told us a lot about the special needs that you're going to meet for these women and how it's going to kind of be set apart mm-hmm. from the other faith-based programs in the area. I think there's only like 5. This will be one of 5 faith-based
Yes.
programs geared especially for women
Yes.
in Northeast Arkansas. Tell me a little bit about why you think this program is so needed.
Well, Carol, I was recently given some information about a study that was done in 2008, and what the studies told us that an estimated 4.64 million women in America had substance abuse problems. And the most shocking part of what I learned in that only a third of these women receive treatment. And so we just see that women have special needs that leave them very vulnerable to relapse. And so that's why we think that the long-term faith-based program will help to meet these needs and really give them the tools that they need for healthy living.
Those numbers are astounding.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy, I would like for you to tell us what made you decide to get involved in this movement.
Well, I have had just some problems and with my family and friends. I've experienced this. I have seen the devastation that substance abuse brings not only to the individual. It's like that ripple effect, throwing a rock in the water. It doesn't just affect that one individual, it affects the whole family. And I began praying as I was seeing family and friends going through these problems. I wanted to do something to make it better. And so Dana Deaton, who is the founder of Butterfly House, called me and asked me if she shared her vision with me about Butterfly House and asked me if I would be interested. And I did pray about it, but I knew immediately that this was what God wanted me to do, and so I called her back and said yes, I wanted to be involved. So that's how I got and why I got involved.
Okay, thank you so much for being here today,
You're
Kathy.
welcome.
We're about out of time for this segment, but we want to thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
Welcome back. As you know, today we're talking about faith-based recovery, and our next guest is Steve McCracken. Steve has dedicated his life to help men overcome addiction, and he's the founder of Shepherd's Fold Ministry in Cardwell, Missouri. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, sure. First of all, what I'd like to know is what made you decide to help men that are struggling with chemical addiction?
Well, I guess it first started in back in '06. My wife went through a similar program, and I had a lot of opportunity to be hands-on, a lot of visibility in that ministry, and I kept seeing these women come in and totally become productive and actually change their patterns, only to return home or to a non-productive environment with their husband or boyfriend still using. And I recognized that something needed to be offered for the men of our communities.
Great. Over the past couple of years, what kind of demand have you seen as far as like in Southeast Missouri, Northeast Arkansas for programs like Shepherd's Fold Ministry?
There's a great demand, and I don't think we should narrow it to specific locations. The demand is great wherever you are. Here, as of late, I think there's been an increase in demand for the need for this type facility, faith-based.
Do you think that's connection with the epidemic levels of prescription addiction that we've been hearing about in the news?
I think that has a lot to do with it. I've seen a lot of influx of guys coming in who had the addiction to the opiates, hydrocodone, things like that. I personally think that's on the rise.
Now, I take it within the ministry, it's not really limited to substance. It's more about addiction and dealing with that type of issue. Is that correct?
That's right. It's not so much the substance as it is the whole makeup of the addiction itself. I mean, it's a sickness. It's an illness, and it's something that needs to be addressed as such. It's not so much a chemical as it is a way of living.
Well, I'm glad you said that because, I've seen different faith-based programs, and some of them claim that God alone will cure this problem, and then there's other programs that actually implement life skill programs and actually some medical, help within these organizations. Can you tell us a little bit about Shepherd's Fold Ministry?
Well, Shepherd's Fold, our firm belief is that Jesus Christ is the only lasting solution to any life-controlling issue. But that has to be, it has to have a counterpart of different coping skills, new ways of thinking, ways of dealing with things. Like I said, we offer life skills and just life management that kind of helps train the guys just to seek alternative measures, as far as ways of thinking.
How long is it a residential program?
It's residential. It's our program's actually 12 months long. It's made up of 8 months in-house, followed by 4 months of aftercare.
And can you tell me a little bit about, I'm sure it costs thousands of dollars a month if you're housing men over a long period of time. How do you meet your cost operation expenses?
Well, we've got a program called Friends of the Fold, and it's set up for people who want to give monthly to our program. And actually, you're not so much sowing into Shepherd's Fold Ministry as you are sowing into the lives of the men we serve. We also have private sponsors. We have people, church sponsors. But one thing that we do that kind of sets us apart is we're a very active ministry. We're always doing some fundraising, selling Boston Butts, Zaxby's fundraisers, Chick-fil-A fund, you know, anything and everything God allows us the opportunity to do, we get out and do. We utilize our faith, but we also utilize our common sense that God gave us, and we put our hands to work also.
So you're really not getting handouts from the government. You base your ability to operate on the communities. Is that right?
Absolutely. We are not state funded, government funded in any shape, form, or fashion. We solely and totally depend on God to move on the hearts of His people.
Okay. Now, Steve, there's plenty of statistics out there and studies about addiction nowadays. I mean, it's been going on so long, and we're into different generations of it at this point. But there are some studies that say less than 10% of the people, and we're talking like millions of people, less than 10% will actually seek out to get help for their chemical addiction problems because of the stigma and discrimination associated with that. When you go into communities, do you ever run into those type of problems?
We do run into that, and I think a lot of it, Skip, is because people just don't understand. There's such a stigma about addiction, and some people think that it's an economic thing, but it's not. Addiction is no respecter of persons. It's something that will affect anybody, and sadly enough, we don't get enough involvement from the community simply because it hasn't fallen on their doorstep yet.
Well, that's going to change with the epidemic numbers we've been looking at lately. You know, as a matter of fact, the American Society of Addiction Medicine announced last summer that chemical addiction was a chronic primary illness, and so I've been having trouble wondering why people still have this discrimination, the stigma problem with it. Do you get any help from the medical communities in the communities where you're located?
That's something that we're currently working on. We've been trying to build a relationship with the medical community for some time, as far as volunteer from the doctors, dentists, what have you. I think the medical community itself is starting to see the benefits from faith-based facilities, more of a lasting result. I think the numbers just speak for themselves.
Well, and I take initially you're trying to get your men in a position to restore their lives and their families and so forth, where they can transfer back or transition back into the communities. What do y'all do at Shepherd's Fold to try to promote that?
Well, Shepherd's Fold, we specifically target the men. And the reason we do that is because men are the main provider of the household in most homes. We empower the men. We want to help them become empowered as far as education. If they come in and they don't have a GED or the equivalent, we help them attain that. It's about making men more empowered to be that provider. There's more to being a provider, more than just putting food on the table. So,
well, it's about leading the family, and if you can't stand up yourself, it's kind of hard to lead a family, isn't it? Mm-hmm. We have a hotline where we get a lot of calls from around the country and asking for referrals and so forth, and so I'm so proud to have you on our show today. One of the biggest, I get two questions. One is, how do I detox somebody? And the other one, of course, is, what does it take to get into a place like Shepherd's Fold? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, as far as the detox, there are a few places in our community that provide that service. Quite expensive, and that's usually a deterrent for a lot of people who need the detox, is the expense. But as far as getting in Shepherd's Fold, it just takes a phone call. They can get our number on our website, shepherdsfoldministry.org. They can give us a call, 573-654-2280, and we'll be glad to talk to them.
Great. Well, listen, Steve, thank you so much for joining us today. Keep up the great work. Your ministry is really restoring a lot of lives out there, and it's like a ripple effect throughout the community when we see people in recovery and being able to resolve a lot of these issues. So thank you. If you want to learn more about Shepherd's Fold Ministry, then just please visit their website, shepherdsfoldministry.org. Go there and check them out and see what God's doing in the lives of the men there. Thank you again, Steve, for joining us. Well, we've got a special treat for you today. Our next guest is Michael Collins and my son Chase Mooney, who will perform one of Michael's newest songs called Switchblade Life. For y'all that don't know, Mike is one of the most talented singer-songwriters in Arkansas. He's shared the main stage with over 35 national acts. His songs have had Grammy attention in the past. He's got songs in movies and television shows that air around the world, and we're so happy to have you here, Michael. And of course, you too, Chase. We really appreciate y'all coming. Switchblade Life, if you can, Michael, tell us a little bit about what Switchblade Life is about, and how did you come up with a song about Switchblade Life?
You know, it's a song that's dealing with my own addiction, which is alcohol. And, you know, as a songwriter, you're always hunting for that next inspiration, and alcohol is definitely one of those things that's in your life. If you're out there in the music world, you know, it's everywhere. So it was one of those things that had been haunting me forever, and you know, conviction set in, and the song kind of wrote itself. Actually, I'd had enough practice for all that, so we ended up writing. Me and a buddy of mine actually finished this up, and it turned out to be a great song.
Well, I love the song, and I
Thank you.
especially love the line about trying to fight in the devil with a switchblade knife. I mean, it sounds just like a lot of people I talk to. They're trying to recover or get through.
Absolutely,
this problem.
it's such an uphill fight that a lot of people never find that treatment and that way to get some help. And you know, I'm fortunate enough to have ran into Shepherd's Fold and those guys, and it's an incredible place, and it's really turned my life around.
Well, that is so great. Listen, if people wanted to hear Switchblade Life other than our website at Out of the Dark, or your other songs, I mean, you've written so many songs, where can they go to listen to your music?
HavenHillBand.com is a good place to go, and you can get on Reverb Nation. We've got a couple of tracks up on iTunes with my band Haven Hill. So, and Facebook too. Haven Hill has a Facebook page, and there are all the links to the different, you know, places on the internet to check out music.
Well, fantastic. You guys ready to show us how
Right.
how it works?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe just a little bit more in my hand, maybe just a little bit more than I can stand. Maybe just a little bit is all that I need, maybe just a little bit we cure this disease. Sometimes you gotta let it go and forget the pages that you wrote. Man, it feels funny that I don't feel high. I fought the devil with a switchblade knife, yeah. But he's winning so far. How did I fall so far so fast? I hit the bottom with a big loud crash, and then I got a switchblade life to mend. Could have been the liquor that was still on my breath. Could have been the rest of it that scared me half to death. Could have been the prayers that were finally answered. Could have been the way it came as calm as cancer. But sometimes you gotta let it go and forget the pages that you wrote. Man, it feels funny that I don't feel high. I fought the devil with a switchblade knife, yeah. But he's winning so far. How did I fall so far so fast? I hit the bottom with a big loud crash, yeah. I got a switchblade life to mend.
you gotta let it go and forget the pages that you wrote. Man, it feels funny that I don't feel high. I fought the devil with a switchblade knife, yeah. But he's winning so far. How did I fall so far so fast? I hit the bottom with a big loud crash, and then